I will start model 2 with the past progressive. What's the meaning of past progressive? Past progressive it means يعني الحاضر المستمر. Okay, the affirmative, negative and question. The affirmative, I was working. He was working. It was working. Now we and you, they were working. So we have to use was and were plus verb plus ing. Was and were plus verb plus ing. The negative, I, he, she, it wasn't working. We, you, they weren't working. We study before the present progressive by using is, are plus verb plus ing, but here was and were. The question will be, was I, he, she, it working, or were we, you, they working, and question mark. So the be will be at the beginning of the sentence in the question. So all, I, he, she, then it, was plus verb plus ing, and we, they, you, were plus verb plus ing. This is in the affirmative. Now in the negative, I, he, she, then it wasn't verb ing, but we, they, you weren't. This form for affirmative and this is for negative. The question will be, was I, he, she, it plus verb plus ing, then the question mark, or were you, we, they plus verb plus ing, then question mark. We use the past progressive for actions that were happening at a specific point of time in the past. At specific time or specific point. So this action was happening at a specific point of time in the past. لازم عمل صار بوقت محدد in the past. I was watching TV at 7 o'clock yesterday evening. So here specific time to describe background scene to a story. Jack was walking in the forest and it was raining. يعني مثلا لما أكون عم بحكي عن قصة بحكي مثلا عن الأحداث اللي صارت بأي وقت وبأي مكان. For actions that were happening at the same time in the past. In this we usually use while. While I was watching TV, my mother was cooking. Watching TV, the longer action. يعني العمل بيكون أو بياخد وقت أطول. We use the ing, the past progressive. So while I was watching TV, my mother was cooking. هلا here we have past simple and past progressive. Time clauses. في عنا time clauses اللي هن when, while, as soon as. We use the past progressive and the past simple in the same sentence. يعني نحن فينا نستخدمهم in the same sentence في جملة واحدة. When one action interrupted another in the past. يعني لما بيجي عمل بيخرب عمل تاني بالماضي. We use the past progressive for the longer action and the past simple for the shorter action. يعني لما بيكون في عندي past progressive امتى بستخدمه؟ لما بيكون في longer action. أما ال past simple shorter action. In this case we usually use while or when. يعني لما بدي استخدم ال past simple وال past progressive I have to use while or when or as. As or while I was driving I saw a boy in the street. لاحظ أنا هون I used longer action. While I was driving I saw a boy in the street. I saw a boy in the street. يعني هون past progressive بينما هون ال past simple لأنه هذا ال verb saw هو shorter action. I was sleeping when the telephone rang. Sleeping هو وقت أطول longer time بينما التليفون rang التليفون shorter time. Note we use as soon as with the past simple. يعني هاي الكلمات أو time clauses بستخدمهم مع الماضي البسيط. As soon as they left we started cleaning up the house. طيب, now we understand the past simple and the past progressive and when we have to use them. Now the compounds of some, any, no and every. Some, any, no and every. For people we say someone or somebody, anyone or anybody, no one, nobody, everyone, everybody. This is for people. Something for things, anything, nothing, everything. Places, somewhere, anywhere, nowhere, everywhere. These compounds always go with singular verbs. يعني هدول بده يكون معها أفعال مفردة. For example, someone is behind the door. Someone is. This is singular verb. We use the compounds of some, no and every in affirmative sentences. Affirmative sentences يعني جملة خبرية مثل ما قلنا we use some, no and every. But in negative sentences and question we use any. I can't find my glasses anywhere. Then any, always we use it with negative and question. نيجي هلا على ال present perfect simple. What the meaning of present perfect simple? Here the form in the affirmative I have worked or I have brought. He, she, it has worked or brought. We, you, they have brought or worked. In the negative I haven't worked, I haven't brought. He, she, it hasn't worked or brought. We, you, they haven't worked or brought. In the question, have I worked or have I brought? Has he, she, it worked or has brought? Have we, you, they brought or worked? So, here the subject plus have or has plus verb 3 يعني الفعل بالتصريف الثالث. إذا نقول I have worked أو brought هي التصريف الثالث من bring. I have or we, they, you have worked or brought. And he, she, it has worked or brought. مثل ما قلنا verb 3 يعني الverb بالتصريف الثالث. بالنيجاتيف بقول I, we, they, you haven't worked or brought. He, she, it hasn't worked or brought. أما بالquestion have I, we, you, they worked or brought, then question mark. Has she, he, then it worked or brought, then the question mark. When we use the present perfect simple أبدأ أنا بستخدمه for an action which happened in the past but we don't mention when exactly. يعني عمل صار بالماضي but we don't know when. يعني نحن ما حطينا أي وقت exactly. For example, I've traveled to UAE twice. أنا رحت twice but I don't know when or I didn't mention when. Talk about a state which started in the past and continues up to the present. يعني عمل بدأ في الماضي بس still up to the present يعني لساته مستمر للحاضر. I have lived in Athens since 1990 so I still live in Athens. يعني أنا ما زلت يعني it started from the past and still now. For an action which happened in the past and finished but the results are obvious in the present. يعني عمل صار بالماضي وخلص بس النتائج still مبينة بالحاضر. I'm tired, you've just finished studying. Look, Jerry has broken his leg. Notes أنا لازم أخبركم عنها إنه we have to memorize the irregular verbs on page 89. يعني إحنا لازم نحفظ هدول verbs أو irregular verbs because we use them in the past and the perfect tense. يعني of course we have to memorize them. لازم نحفظهم ضروري. Very important. Now time expressions. شو يعني time expressions؟ إنه يعني شو هي الكلمات اللي ممكن تستخدم مع هذا التنس. في عنا for, since, already, just, yet, recently, lately, ever, never, how long, once, twice, before, so far, etc. يعني أنا لما بشوف هدول الكلمات these words so I have a present perfect simple. Present perfect simple. Now we will start with since and for. What's the difference between since and for? When I have to use since and when I have to use for. Since a point in time يعني شيء محدد أو وقت محدد. It refers to the time when the action started. يعني إمتى بدأ العمل. I've had this collection since 1999 يعني من عام 1999 محدد. Then since when the action started but for plus period of time لفترة من الزمن for لفترة من الزمن period of time. It refers to the duration of the action. I've had this collection for 6 years. إذا مثل ما قلنا since point of time or for period of time. Present perfect simple plus since plus past time to indicate when an action which started in the past and continues up to the present started. يعني أنا في عندي هون زمنين two tenses the present perfect وال past simple. Sam has written 5 books since he became a writer. شوفوا هون present perfect بينما هون في عندي past simple. so في عندي since، إذن العمل كان بالماضي ومستمر لحد هلا. yet already. yet is used only with the questions and negative form of verbs. يعني مع question والنيجاتيف. إذن yet بتستخدم مع question والنيجاتيف. it's placed at the end of sentence. يعني هي موضوعة بنهاية الجملة. have you finished yet? he hasn't arrived yet. إذن yet with the negative and questions and it's at the end of the sentence. يعني هي بنهاية الجملة. already is used with affirmative and question form of verbs. الفرق إن هون yet مع negative والquestion، بينما already مع affirmative والquestion it's placed between the auxiliary and the main verb. هي موجودة بين auxiliary اللي هي الفعل المساعد والفعل الأساسي or at the end of the sentence for emphasis، أو ممكن تكون بنهاية الجملة. لا I've already seen that documentary. You've finished eating already. لاحظنا have already seen. You've finished eating already. Here between the auxiliary verb and the main verb, but here at the end of the sentence. عرفنا إذن yet and already. Yet with a question and negative, but already with affirmative and question. Yet at the end of the sentence, but already between the auxiliary verb and main verb, or at the end of the sentence. Have, has gone, or have, has been. Have, has gone means that someone has gone somewhere and he is still there. يعني لساته موجود هناك، راح وما رجع. The Greens have gone to Rome. They are still in Rome. يعني هو راح ولساته موجود هناك. Have or has been means that someone has visited a place but has come back. يعني لما بستخدم have أو has been فمعناتها في شخص ما راح على مكان ورجع. عكس has gone or have gone ذهب ولم يعد، راح وما رجع. بينما have or has been means إنه come back. Ian has been to the new shopping center. He visited the new shopping center at some point in the past, but he's not there anymore. راح ورجع. Present perfect simple and past simple. We use the present perfect simple for actions that happened at some time in the past, but the exact time is not mentioned. يعني أنا استخدمت ال present perfect simple لأعمال حصلت في وقت بالماضي، بس ال exact time not mentioned، يعني مو مبين الوقت محدد. I have heard this story before طبعا من time expressions، إنه أنا سمعت قبل بس the time is not mentioned. We use the past simple for actions that happened at definite time in the past and the time is mentioned. أكيد ال past simple يعني ال time. ال past simple الأكشن happened at definite time in the past and the time is mentioned، يعني time موضح أو mentioned. I heard this story on the radio last night. لاحظوا الفرق إنه هون بال present perfect simple the time is not mentioned. يعني I have heard this story before, but here I heard this story on the radio last night. The time is mentioned. time expressions اللي أنا بستخدمهم مع ال present perfect. وفي نقطة كتير مهمة مثل ما قلت أنا من شوي، إنه لازم نحفظ ال irregular verbs، كتير بيفيدونا بال present perfect وبال past simple of course. وفي كمان رح ناخد نبقى ال past perfect. بكل هدول بكل التنسز نحنا بنحتاج إنه نعرف ال irregular verbs. So please memorize them.